Naveen, and today we'll be looking at CAT 2024 Quantitative Aptitude Arithmetic, and this is part 2 of the series. Part 1 of the series we did this week and last week, arithmetic as well as logical reasoning. So let's look at the questions. And before we do that, please everyone make sure that you can fill up the CAT counseling form, which is there in the chat, which is pinned in the chat. So if you have any queries regarding CAT, what kind of courses we offer and what all the products that you can take up, you can complete that form. Okay. So the link to that is given in the description as well as in the chat. So let's begin with our first question for the day. The question says the price of petrol increased by 20% this month and 10% next month. How much percent should it decrease to reach the initial price? Since the question involves only percentage, so we can start with a number of our choice. So suppose the price of petrol is 100. So it increased by 20%. So if it increases by 20%, that will be 20% of 100. That means there will be increase of 20. So it becomes 120. And 10% next month. So 10% of 120 is what we will have to calculate. 10% of 120 is going to be 12. 120 plus 12 is 132. Now question asked is how much percentage should it decrease in order to reach the initial price? So we need to go back. So from 132 to 100, if we want to go back, so we will have to decrease 32 out of 132, right? So this is pretty simple. 32 out of 100 would have been 32%, right? So if our denominator increases, our overall value of the fraction will decrease, right? So the answer should be less than 32%. That's only going to be option C, right? Straightforward, no equation whatsoever required. You need to be good with conversion from fractions to percentages and vice versa. Okay, the next one. Monty left for the railway station on his bicycle at 10 km/h at 8 a.m. from his home to board a train at 2 p.m. After 2 hours, he felt that he left his ticket at home. He immediately turned back to pick the ticket from his house. At what minimum speed should he travel such that he is able to catch the train if the distance between his home and the station is 60 kilometers? So let's say this is his home and this is the railway station. Okay, S. The distance being 60 kilometers. Right. So he leaves at 8 a.m. and the question says after 2 hours, that is at 10 a.m. right? And is traveling at 10 km/h. So in these 2 hours, he would have covered 20 kilometers. So at 10 a.m. he is here and he's supposed to be at this station at 2 p.m. right? Now what he has to do is he has to go back his home and then from home he has to reach the station. So which is going to be 20 kilometers and another 60 kilometers. So he has to cover 80 kilometers now. But the time that he has to cover these 80 kilometers is going to be in just 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's in 4 hours. So if somebody has to cover 80 kilometers in 4 hours, so his speed is going to be 80 upon 4, right? So he should be bicycle. He's going to ride his bicycle at the speed of 20 km/h. Then only he will be able to reach this station on time. So that's the minimum speed at which he should be riding the bicycle, right? Okay, next one. Suman bought 2 packets of sugar, both having different varieties, such that one packet weighs 30% more than the other. So this 30% more is about the weight. He then decides to take a few quantities from both the packets and mix them in a jar such that the combined weight of the 2 packets gets reduced by 1/5. If the weight of the heavier packet reduces to 80% of its original weight, then the lighter packet incurs a weight loss of how much, right? So we have got 2 packets of sugar and they have different varieties, such that one packet weighs 30% more than the other. So let's say we have packet 1 and we have packet 2. If packet 1 weighs 1 kg or 1 unit, packet 2 will weigh 1.3 kg. If you don't want to deal with decimal values, what you can do is you can consider them to be 10 kg for packet 1, such that packet 2 will turn out to be 13 kg in weight. Now, what he now does is he decides to take few quantities from both the packets and mix them in a jar, such that the combined weight of the 2 packets gets reduced by 1/5, right? So combined ka 1/5. So the combined weight is 23 kg, right? 10 kg plus 13 kg. So it gets reduced by 1/5. That means 1/5 of 23 is going to be 4.6. So it gets reduced, it reduces by 4.6 kgs. So that means it was going to be 18.4 kg now, right? So 18.4 kg is what we are going to have instead of 23 kg overall. 18 plus 4, 22, 6, 4, 1, 23. ठीक है. Now it is given that this reduction of 4.6 happens when there is going to be some quantity taken out from 10 and some quantity taken out from 13. So it says if the weight of the heavier packet, heavier as in 13 kg, it reduces to 80%, as in there is a reduction of 20%. So this is going to be 20% of 13 kg, which is going to be 2.6 kg is the reduction, right? So how much reduction should we have from the other component? Now, out of 4.6 kg reduction that we had, 2.6 kg comes out from the first, so from one of them, right? So the remaining 2 kg should be reduced from the other. Now 2 kg is what percentage of 10 kg? So this is also a reduction of 20%. So 20% becomes our answer. Now there is a simple logic here as well. If you pay attention, then the heavier packet reduces to 80% is same as saying it reduces by 20%. This reduces by 20%, right? 1/5 is 20%. So if there is a reduction of 20% in one of the packets and overall it's 20%, so the percentage reduction from the other packet should also be 20. Because 20 and 20 ka average is 20, right? एक से 20 reduction है, 20%, sorry. If there is a 20% reduction from one side and overall it's 20%, then from the other part also it should be 20%. So without doing any calculation also we could have answered this, because 1/5 and reduce to 80%, they are the same thing, right? Next one, Andrew and Stephen do construction work for ₹2520. Andrew alone can do it in 20 days, while Stephen alone can do it in 30 days. With Tyler's help, they can finish the work in 8 days. Andrew and Stephen start the work, and after 3 days, Tyler replaces Andrew, and thus the work gets completed in a few days. They have not mentioned in how many days. What amount should be paid to Tyler out of the total amount? So whenever you have got questions under time and work that relates to payment, a person is paid the amount which is directly proportional to the amount of work done, right? So you will be paid in rupees or dollars or any unit, any currency, which is going to be directly related to how much of work you have done, right? It has got nothing to do with simply your efficiency. Maybe your efficiency is huge, but you did not work for the entire duration. You worked only for a small part of it. So we have 3 people over here, right? So if we read this, from here we will be able to figure out the efficiencies of Andrew and Stephen. So Andrew finishes the work in 20 days and the same Stephen finishes in 30 days. So if we look into this, efficiency of Andrew is 3 and efficiency of Stephen is 2. If I put any one of these back, we will get the amount of work to be equal to 3 into 20 or 2 into 30, which is 60 units. This is the entire work, right? Now, with Tyler's help, they can finish the work in 8 days. So we can say that Andrew plus Stephen plus Tyler, they can finish the work, which is 60 units in 8 days. Or if we replace this, Andrew and Stephen with their respective efficiencies, from here we will be able to get the value of Tyler, which is going to be 60 by 8, 7.5 minus 5, which is going to be 2.5. So Tyler's efficiency is the average of Andrew and Stephen's. Okay, so we have got the efficiency of Andrews, Stephen, and Tyler. Okay, then it says Andrew and Stephen starts the work after 3 days. Start the work and after 3 days. So the 60 units, Andrew and Stephen, they start the work and they work for 3 days, right? Then Tyler replaces Andrew. So instead of 3, we will now have 2.5 plus 2, and they finish the work in few days, right? So from here we will get the value of D. So this is going to be 5 into 3, 15, 45, 45 by 4.5, which is going to be 10. So we will get the value of D as 10. As in, if we look into this, the work done out of 60 units by Andrew is 3 into 3, which is 9 units. By Stephen is 2 into 3 plus 2 into 10, which is 2 into 13. So Stephen actually worked for the entire 13 days, right? 3 days first with Andrew and then 10 days along with Tyler. So he finishes 26 units. And if you talk about Tyler, Tyler worked at an efficiency of 2.5 and he works for 10 days. So 2.5 into 10, so it's going to be 25. Right? This is the amount of work that they completed. So how much will Tyler be paid? So looking at this, can we say Tyler works 25 units out of a total of 25 plus 26, 51 plus 9, 60 units. So the total amounts also the same ratio he will be paid, which is going to be 5 and this is going to be 12. Now 12 is going to be, this is going to be 210. So 5 into 210 is going to be 1050. So this is the amount that Tyler is going to be paid, because he does 25 units out of total 60 units. That is 5 out of 12. Right? So people who are watching, there is a link which is pinned in the chat. You can fill up the form so that we can get in touch with you and we can help you out with the counseling part for your CAT preparation or any other MBA exam preparation. Make sure that you fill it out correctly with proper email ID and contact number. Okay, and we'll get in touch with you as soon as possible. Let's look at question number 5 now. 270 liters of mixture contains wine and water in the ratio 5:x. After adding 20 liters of water and 30 liters of wine to it, the ratio of wine to water in the resultant mixture becomes 9:7. We need to find the value of x. So if we talk about how much of wine we have, so the amount of wine we have is 5 by 5 plus x, right? Out of 270 liters. Then out of this much of wine, 30 liters of wine is put in, right? So this becomes the total wine. Final wine to water mixture becomes 9 by 9 plus 7, 16 of 300. Because initially we had 270 liters of mixture and then 30 liters sorry, not 300, 320. Then 20 liters of water is added and 30 liters of wine is added. So 270 plus 20 plus 30, that is 320 liters is finally what we're going to have. There is only one variable x, right? We'll be able to solve it. So this is going to be 20, 180, 150. So 5 by 5 plus x is going to be 150 by 270. So this is going to be 5 by 9, which can be written as 5 by 5 plus 4. And if we compare, x turns out to be 4. So initially the ratio of wine and water was 5:4. Next question. A takes 3 hours 30 minutes more than B to walk 50 kilometers. If A doubles his speed, then he can walk the same distance in 1 hour less than B. How much time does A require for walking a 50 kilometer distance? So we are talking about a certain distance, right? Which is 50 kilometer distance. Now, if we talk about B, right? If his speed is s, then he takes t time. And if it is a, then he takes at his own speed, let's say speed of a, he takes a time which is going to be t plus 3.5. 30 minutes is half an hour. Okay. Now, if a doubles his speed, so he should take half the time, right? So half of the time that he was taking is what he should be taking now. But this is given as 1 hour less than B. So this results in t plus 7 by 2 is equal to 2t minus 2. And this results in t is equal to 7 by 2 plus 2, which is 11.5. So that means B was taking 11.5 hours and A was taking 3.5 hours more, which is going to be 15 hours, right? 11.5 and 3.5, 15 hours. So how much time? 4 plus 7, 11. Is there any calculation mistake? Okay. How much time in hours does A require for walking a 50 kilometer distance? Hold on. How much time does A require? So is it about initially that he was taking the time, or is it after he's taking the time? What are we talking about here? Sorry, 11 by 2 is not 11.5. That's what I'm saying. Why doesn't it make sense? 11 by 2 is 5.5 hours. And this will become 5 minus 1, that is 4 hours. So if he walks by his usual speed, he will be taking 9 hours to cover that 50 kilometers. If he doubles his speed, then he will be taking only 4 hours. which it should be actually 4.5 hours, not 4 hours. आधा होना चाहिए ना time. 5.5 minus 1, that is 4.5 hours. So since we don't have a 4.5, so obviously they're talking about his usual scenario, as in if he travels using his regular speed and not doubles his speed, so it should be 9. ठीक है, so 11 by 2 is not 11 and a half. That was stupid of me. Okay, next question. Suresh claims to sell an item at cost price but uses a weight of 960 grams instead of 1 kg. Hence, his effective selling price of the article turns out to be 83.33% of the mark price. Find the percentage markup. So when he claims to sell an item at a cost price, that means the formula we use is multiplying factor of profit or loss percentage is equal to multiplying factor of discount percentage into multiplying factor of faulty weight percentage into multiplying factor of let's say uh, any other loss कुछ भी करा या फिर he does any measuring way, he makes some changes, adulteration kuch bhi hai, so xyz anything else, and also markup price percentage. So the successive percentage changes of everything that is being done by a shopkeeper eventually results in his overall profit or loss percentage. Now as per the first part, since he says he sells the item at the cost price, that means he's saying his profit and loss is nahi hai, kuch bhi nahi hai, 0%. That means it's 1. Right? Multiplying factor is 1. Whatever is the cost price, same is the selling price. He uses a weight of 960 grams instead of 1 kg. So if he has a, let's say, beam balance, so instead of 1 kg, he uses a weight of 960 grams. That means the thing written over it is 1 kg, but actually it weighs 960 grams, which means the commodity that goes on the other pan is 960 grams. But when a customer will look at it, he will not be able to realize that the amount of quantity is 960 grams because he's looking at the weight. Weight pe 1 kg likha hua hai. So the customer ends up paying 1 kg price to the shopkeeper, but the customer gets 960 grams of articles only. From the perspective of the shopkeeper, we can say that the shopkeeper gets money for 1 kg or 1000 grams of commodity, but he ends up selling only 960 grams of commodity. So this is a profit type of scenario for him. So the multiplying factor should be more than 1. Now we have two numbers, 1000 gram and 960 gram. If we want this to be a profit scenario, it has to be 1000 by 960. Common sense. His effective selling price of the articles turns out to be 83.33% of the mark price. The relation between selling price and mark price is called the discount percentage, right? So actually मेरे को sequence ऐसे लिखना चाहिए था. Discount percentage is something that I will be writing here. And this one faulty weight is 1000 upon 960. And multiplying factor of markup price percentage is something I will be finding out. Okay. So 83.33% if I don't want to deal with this recurring values, right? So 83.33 is actually 5 by 6. That means if the mark price is 6, the selling price is 5. So the discount turns out to be 5 by 6. Okay. So what we now can do is we can find out multiplying factor of markup price percentage is going to be how much. So we will have to cross multiply. Here 5 and 100, they are together. So it's just not getting cancelled out, right? So since this is uses a weight of 960 grams instead of 1 kg. उसको 1 kg यूज करना चाहिए था पर वो 960 ग्राम्स करता है. So he should actually have put in 1 kg. Oh, instead of means something that we needed first of all, right? As in the thing that comes first. So he's supposed to put 1 kg weight because the weight of the commodity is 1 kg. But instead of 1 kg, he puts a weight of 960 grams. That means the thing written on the weight is 960 grams. Right? And the commodity that he gives away is 1 kg. So from a shopkeeper's point of view, 1 kg ka commodity, as in 1 kg saman de diya, 1000 grams. But the customer is going to look at that weight which is written 960 grams and the customer is going to pay him for that 960 grams. मैंने सामान तो 1000 grams का दिया पर पैसे केवल 960 grams के मिले. So that would mean a loss for us. So the multiplying factor should be actually this, right? ठीक है, tricky language. So be very careful. Okay, if we try to solve this, this is, first of all, we'll take care of a 0, then 520 and 616. So we will have from here, it reverses, 20 by 16 is what we'll have, which becomes 5 by 4, which becomes 1 by 4 more. And 1 by 4 is nothing but 25%. More as in markup, right? So 25% becomes our answer. Okay, next. A and B can complete a project in 12 days and 6 days respectively. They started working together. However, B left the project 3 days before completion. Find the number of days required to finish the entire work. In such kind of questions of time and work where 2 or more than 2 people are working, and then somebody leaves before, n number of days before the completion of the work. So what you need to do is see the sequence in the reverse pattern. As in, ऐसे देखो कि suppose total work is going to be 12. So efficiency of A will be 1 and efficiency of B will turn out to be 6. Sorry, 2, not 6, 2. So instead of writing efficiency, I will simply write A and B. Where A and B, they represent the efficiencies. So ये 12 units करना था. B left the project 3 days before completion, as in last 3 days में who worked? A worked alone for those 3 days. And then A and B together worked for initially certain number of days. Right? मैं इसको ऐसे लिख देता हूँ. Certain number of days. We know that A is 1, so 1 into 3, and this is 1 plus 2 into D, and this should be equal to 12. So if we solve this, we will have D is equal to 3, right? So they together worked for 3 days and A alone finally worked for 3 days. So their total overall worked for 6 days. As if the entire work got completed in 6 days. It becomes easier to say it this way. अगर sequence में जाएंगे तो we don't know on which day it got over. So we will have D days, D minus 3 लिखना पड़ेगा. It will become little more calculative. थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा हो जाएगा calculative. And if we have more than 2 people, then it becomes very calculative. If we go with the sequence as it is given, we should rather start from the end. So everyone, please make sure that you like the video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you subscribe. I'll repeat, there is the link to the counseling form that is pinned in the chat as well as in the description below. If you have got any queries related to CAT or MHCET, or test series, any of the products, okay, related to MBE preparation, you can fill up that counseling form and we'll get in touch with you as soon as possible. Okay. You can unlock your 3 days free trial access by downloading our app. The link to that is also given in the description. And once you put in your contact number, you can avail 3 days free trial access. Okay. MHCET specialized course we are about to begin, which will include more than 55 live sessions, more than 50 recorded live classes, more than 250 pre-recorded conceptual async classes, 12 mocks based on actual MHCET pattern, and more than 3,500 practice questions varying across different level of difficulty. Well, you can enroll in the course. Okay, the link is given in the description. It only is going to cost you 4,800, which is so less as compared to any other product available. Okay, so you will get all the details that we discussed in the previous slide at just the cost of 4,800. You can avail up to 90% scholarship on CAT preparation exam. So tomorrow at 11 a.m. there is going to be a scholarship test. Make sure that you register for this. This is available on the app. So you can go on the app, you can see that scholarship test link is there. Click on it, register for it, and write the scholarship test. You can also talk to our counselor by clicking on this button again on the app, the homepage of our app, the dashboard. You can check out our social media handles and pages of YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Telegram. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'll see you again with another session on QA or LRDI. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.